To kick off the 4th of July in Belpre, the Belpre Masonic Lodge and Belpre area veterans hosted flag ceremonies early this morning. Our Jace Olivia went to the ceremonies and has more from the participants.
In the bright early morning of July 4th, dozens gathered at the Belpre Masonic Lodge for the 12th annual flag lowering and raising ceremony. The first half of the morning saw the old and tattered flag that flied at the lodge coming down to be replaced, and the new pristine flag going up, all while the Star-Spangled Banner was played on harmonica. Master of the Lodge Earl George says the event has grown tremendously since its start 12 years ago.
Plus the new flag that we raised, you saw how large it is, and we needed a way to do it properly in respect to the flags of our country. And that's what got it started. And then other people knew we were doing it, and every year it has just grown. We have people deposit used flags with us, to retire as well.
Belpre Area Veterans President Eric Clark says he has seen respect and patriotism from everyone at the ceremony.
I have seen patriotism. I've seen people who, it's hot out here, it's early, most people had the day off. They could have chose to be anywhere else in the community, but they chose to come here.
The second half of the morning included a retirement ceremony where the old, tattered and torn flags that are no longer able to fly are retired, usually by burning. Clark says they then take the ashes and bury them in one of the local areas.
Once the barrel has cooled down, we collect all of the ashes, and those ashes get buried separately. We buried some flags about 3 or 4 years ago, and we buried the ashes of, I think, 3,071 flags under a sheet of concrete where we poured a new sidewalk.
First Class Scout Owen Carr with Troop 91 says today's event shows that 4th of July is more than hot dogs and fireworks.
This is a really important event. I mean, most people are probably sleeping in right now my age, but it's a really important event, and that you shouldn't just overlook this. And this is part of 4th of July, not just the hot dogs and the hamburgers.
In Belpre, I'm Jason Olivia with WTAP News. This is home.